Pilgrim has been in Cagayan de Oro for quite some time. In fact, just recently when the city celebrated its 65th year, Pilgrim was among the very few educational institutions and other entities in the city. It was given a special recognition by the city government as a partner of development. Through the years, Pilgrim has been an integral partner of the city as it was organized. The main purpose of the pioneers of Pilgrim is to build a school that develops the young people to have that Christian character. And we are still very much conscious and aware of such commitment. That's why we always inculcate the mission of the school, which is to empower lives through whole person education and to produce graduates having that Christian values of faith, integrity, responsibility, excellence, and service. When Pilgrim was established, it was named it was known as Pilgrim Institute. It was purely a secondary educational institution. And through the years, especially at present, Pilgrim is now a complete tertiary educational institution with a complete preschool and elementary. Then we have the junior high school, the senior high school, and of course our college department.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sir and ma'am, may I request everyone to turn now your videos, turn on now your videos so that we can begin our program for this afternoon. Okay, before we officially start our program, may I request Sir Pao to play our prayer and Philippine national anthem. Same also with the pilgrim songs for our opening. Thank you.
Let us pray. Our loving and generous God, we praise and thank you for the bountiful blessings you have given us. Thank you for giving us a mind that can know and a heart that can love. Thank you for giving us the chance to continue learning amidst the pandemic that had caused a lot of changes in our lives. We are sorry for the times we have failed you. We humbly ask for your forgiveness. Father, help us stay focused on our studies. When learning becomes difficult, grant us the gifts of courage and enthusiasm. Grant us the grace to use our knowledge in making a difference to the lives of the people around us. All this we pray in your mighty name. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, telas na silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manluluping, di ka pasisikin, sa nagatak tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong panggaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nagtitindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may magtitindig. Luman ang araw ng walhagit pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang hinigaya na pagkay mga api,
Off screen ano eh. Yan. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, sir and ma'am, good afternoon. Grabe ka formal itong program karon. Okay,
Di,
2020.
preparation na kay kita ra bay host sa Mindanao Convention sa AXCO. Nya si Dali ang host. Si Fausto ang production manager ug ikaw Brian ang overall director.
Okay, 2020 and 2021 has been a very challenging years which has brought us so many realization, and I believe that one particular trait that has grown immensely to all of us is patience. Patience to fall in line, patience to teach for those who have kids their modules, patience how to use technology, and patience still to adjust with technology and gadgets to better cope up with the new normal. Once again, we are in the new normal, especially in delivering webinars and seminars that I believe is beneficial not just to Pilgrim employees like us, but also to everyone. Before we begin, please help me welcome our President and CEO for his short welcome address. Thank Dr. Pio D. Baconga. Let's have all our warm hands of applause.
Formal lugar kay ta karon no. To the distinguished BPEA of Pilgrim Christian College, Dr. Dalia Bosiños, to our very energetic deans, Dr. Heidi Estudillo, Dr. Nambatak, Dr. Aman si Hister, Dr. Bation, Professor Bation, and of course our new doctor, Dr. Fausto Abilia, and to Ma'am Laura, who is our quality assurance officer, and to all members of the Pilgrim academic community, I would like to welcome everyone. Mura sa formal kayo ani. Now, this is, and of course, our resource speaker, Professor Kagimbaga, no? Warlinda Kagimbaga. Will she be introduced properly?
Practice.
Mag-practice
Introduce properly
na ta.
yun.
Yeah, in behalf of the administration, I would like to welcome everyone. This is something that I hope we can do regularly. It's been it's been more than a year that we had the lockdown, that we had the pandemic, and classes had been suspended face to face, and so the opportunity for us to have to do it online is imperative, and we welcome that in spite of all our limitations. And I think we should maximize this opportunity. We don't have any problem as far as the Zoom connectivity or application is concerned, because we have paid already the whole year Zoom, and it's unlimited basta di lang mag-overlap ang mga schedules. So there's no reason why we could not do some sharing, no, in terms of giving information or benchmarking, or even in terms of sharing experiences and knowing new technologies, knowing new tools in terms of delivering our education, particularly in times like this. And in spite of all these problems that we encounter, in spite of the pandemic and the limitation, restriction for face-to-face, there are a lot of opportunities that come along the way, no? Like doing online classes, or even we can, as I've discussed with Dali, we could have as many special courses, not necessarily degree, no, degree towards a certain degree, but any certification for that matter. Special certificates is not a regulated program, no. Chair doesn't care pila ka certificate imong issue, basta dili degree, wala po yung TOR affected. So we can really do a lot of lecture and a lot of modules or series, and then we will issue a certificate, and that would be a other than income generating, that would also be an opportunity for us to expand, no? Now, looking back, it has been our problem in Pilgrim, especially also that documentation is, we are about to, in fact, because of the pandemic, our accreditation visit has been deferred. And Laura, I just talked to Bobby a while ago. They received already the letter, and then I asked him if we can have some amount of degree of assurance nga ma-approve in siya nga nanay kung nana ba na-approve nga nag-request siya na naman pud sir, but even if na-approve siya or whatever, our preparation for the accreditation should not lay the maglaylo ta, no, the more that this coming, by the way, this coming April 15, ako man din ang birthday, from 9:30 mag-start for Visayas and Mindanao schools, though limited lang nila og duha ka participant. It's an orientation of the new modalities, the new approaches in terms of accreditation visit, no? Like for example, digitalizing all our documents other than online discussion, interview, and so on. But should the present limitation is not something that we welcome, and it's not something that would excuse us from preparing ourselves and assuring our reaccreditation, our visit, the reaccreditation visit successful, and we can be assured of at least no diminution or no level down ta in terms of the level, but we should look forward for accreditation as a moving forward, no, looking forward also. And let's also prepare ourselves, especially we have we have two programs that is on candidate status, our accountancy program as well as our grade school. So it's something that we should prepare. Now, in the course of our experiences, even in the past more than a decade already, we have been accredited. Like our high school has been accredited for since 1998. So pila naman katuig pausto ang atong accreditation sa high school. Since 1998 naman paman na siya. O ay naghangad-hangad diha, statistics dali ra na. So we have been more than 22 years na, no. Unya murag pimila na to kada visit sa accreditation, pimila tag struggle. Now, one of the issues that we have experienced or that has been raised is the proper documentation, record keeping. Usahay kung nay mangita, ay ako nay kinanglanon, ay pa mangita. O accreditation, ay pa din mangita. Dili ra ba gyud nga nag-prepare ahead. But usahay na mga document nga pangitaon ni Laura on that morning na, nga gamito na on that day. So, usahay mahimo na lang majikiro ni Laura para lang ana ay ma-document. Karon kung digitalize na, dili na pwede nga pang magic-magicon lang kay may rason. That's why it's very important that we should keep all our records, no, especially in the present technological advancement. There are new ways of documenting and keeping our records. We do have our own records personal that we do. Some are very manual, some are already perhaps digitalized. But they said, let's make use of technology. And we're very happy also that we have internally, we have our own resource person in the person of Mrs. Kagimbaga, whom she will share. And I believe this is something, especially that she is also the chief librarian. I think this topic is one of her expertise, being the topic of her masteral thesis, no, masteral study. So let's us all take note and really take this opportunity with optimism that we ourselves will also be learning from her. Now, another thing is we have been discussing with Dali, no, murag ako gakapura na ko sa uban mga schools ug mga kuan Dali kanang mga webinar kay sa network na to sa AXCO o sa Kokopia, pirmi ko kadawat og invitation. Now, naman tay mga lecture series which is not difficult to get a speaker because he he or she does not have to come here physically. And we have a lot of topic that can be discussed. So can we have it as a program? Mahimo sa na siya nga documentation nato, Laura, di ba? Nga part sa atong i-submit nga exhibit, the regular webinar or lecture series, online lecture series that we can do, no? We can tap some of our TOP awardees as resource speaker and some other in various topics, no? So let's take this as a step towards more things like this. Taas na nga akong welcome, but anyway, I take this opportunity, and I saw also in on screen many of our people are present. So again, let us welcome this opportunity. Again, good morning and Soli Deo Gloria.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir Pio, for that very inspiring words of welcome. Indeed, our current limitation is not an excuse for us not to be equipped and ready for the new normal. Okay. Masasa na akong kodigo.
Ang atong background, basta official pilgrim siguro nga meeting, awatan ng kampausto o kaning ako, si Brian may naghimo ani. O kana na aron maklaro nga maibog mi anang dagat likod ni Joy.
Okay.
No, sir. Lami na anak pa.
Lagi dali naman na kay pasara na butang na ni Brian sa PM ninyo.
Asa
Hi, Sir Bry.
rin Pausto? Pilgrim mo na kay Pausto. Okay. Let us begin. Records keeping and management is something not new to us. All offices and departments have been practicing this in our respective offices in order to properly serve our clienteles, the stakeholders, the members of the faculty and staff, parents, and most especially our students. However, reality also tells us that sometimes our record control us instead of us controlling them. We are faced with the usual questions like, where did I place that file? The file should be right here. I think I misplaced the file, or should I keep this file? During accreditation period, different files are required from our offices, department. And unfortunately, some of us cannot give or take a lot of time searching, maybe because we simply do not have it or we didn't keep it properly. In Pilgrim, different offices use different methods according to the different persons keeping it, and yet as one school, it is ideal that we should have one system to answer what to file, how to file, and why the need to file. With the advent of technology and the new normal of accreditation, we are also tasked now of keeping and maintaining soft copies of various records to send electronically to AXCO ACI. Kanina pa ingon ni Sir Pio, dili na pwede himon ora-orada because we really have to send them ahead of time. It is our hope, along with the committee, to answer these questions and better equip everyone, the heads, the staff, and all personnel of the office or the department with the new normal, especially on records keeping and file management. To help us with the topic, please help me welcome our speaker for this afternoon. Tulo wala nahatag ang siyong ala wala nahatag yung resume. So our speaker this afternoon is none other than our Chief Librarian, Mrs. Warlinda Allen. Miraso kadagan mo sa apelyido ni Ma'am. Is Ma'am Warlinda Kagimbaga. She recently rose from the rank after the retirement of our dear librarian, Divina Balkin. But she has been also, during my student life period, she has been the readers in charge for our college department library. And wala na pwede masulti.
Ano mo kung mahatag?
Dugangi pa.
Basta, she is currently
Yes.
pursuing her masteral degree in adi
Mana?
sorry good. She has finished her masteral degree in library science.
Wala ko record nimo, wala record.
Oh, wala
Wala
proof,
record,
wala record,
bay.
sir. Finish na siya.
Lagi mo nang sample sa wala record nga update.
Impromptu, parang impromptu lagi. So, without much further ado, please help me welcome our very own and in-house speaker, Ma'am Warlinda Kaginmaga.
Okay, good afternoon. Wow,
On.
very formal. I felt so defeated because as if I am speaking with the ICT people. Yeah. Mura siya og kuan ang nag-post kay taga DICT. Grabe ka formal si Pao ug si Brian. Okay. Because of the accreditation requirements, we really need to have records, and as a problem was noted that every time Ma'am Laura is asking us record, masiri-siri tag pangita. Then antod nga everything will be asked kang Brian. Kang Brian na day kuno tanan. So kang Brian, ito kang Brian.
Ang picture sa akong Facebook.
Oh, usually kang sir na lang ta mangita og picture kay nara tanan didto. Supposedly kung sa website nara na siya didto. So I will now begin sharing my screen. Actually, I prepared two slides for this afternoon session. Okay, this is all about the records management. Okay. Why we need to have an integrated approach to records management? It is very important because as we notice, we lack of uniform classification and filing system. So every office has its own filing system, but supposedly as one institution, we should have one uniform classification and filing system. Since we lack systematic and orderly transfer of inactive records, so because our inactive records are still filed in our office, so that's why as we notice, the registrar's office nana siya second floor because inactive records are stored in the second floor, the mezzanine. Okay, supposedly it should not be like that. There should be an archive or records office for inactive records. So we need to have an integrated approach of record management because we lack of standardization and control of the creation of forms and directives. So even if not necessary, we create records. So supposedly we only create records if it is very much needed. And because of that, loss or misfiling of records we don't have filing system, we don't have uniform classification, there's a tendency that we lost or misfile our records. So kung mangita na, magkagubot na dayon. Okay. Then we also lack of storage space. Our office not really big enough to store records from 1948 up to present. And also, we need filing equipment for that record. Okay. So these are now the goals of the records management program. First, create only necessary documents. So why is it that documents to be created is only documents which can make our institution efficient and successful in its operation will be the ones created. Then produce records when needed. So if ever there's we need a record, example, Ma'am Laura wants us this record, so automatically we can produce the record. And then retain and preserve only records needed for continued operation of the office or our school. and dispose what is not needed. So dapat lagi i-dispose ang what is not needed. So along the way, we will encounter words like record, which means information captured in reproducible form required for conducting any transaction or activity. The records management, a logical and a practical approach to the creation, the maintenance, and the use and disposition of records. And we should also know the life cycle of our records. Okay, this is the illustration of the cycle of our records. First, we create, then we store, then we dispose. This new normal, because we are already digitalizing all our documents, sometimes we'll have to back up our records or preserve our records in CD or the compact disc. And the other, which are not already, which are obsolete and dead records should be disposed, like burning, shredding, or recycling. Some will be recycled. So these are the functions. In record creation, recording of information on paper, print, can be stored in a flash drive, in CD, or anything, any transmitting medium. So records maintenance, producing the records when needed. So inana ang maintenance. When you need a record, you can produce automatically. Then determining the ultimate fate of records is the disposition. So unsay destiny ana nga record. Will it last for 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, or wala na siya gamit? Can be disposable already. So these are now the criteria in creating records. Before you create record, you ask yourself, is it necessary? What constitutes an adequate documentation? Will it be printed? Will it be picture? Will it be pwede ra ba verbal, text, email? Is it desirable to have it in a consistent format? So in our correspondence, we have our letterhead. Ano siya? Then will it be JPEG? Will it be Word format? Will it be PDF format? Or whatever format that is necessary. What is the future of the life of that certain document? So will it last for how many years? So these are the records created and kept in our school. The correspondence management, these are the letters. The reports control, example, the monitoring of the number of enrollees, forms, the requisition form, and the leave form. Directives management, these are the memorandums from head of the offices. Records maintenance, to maintain a good record, we'll have to adopt a file plan. A file plan is a classification scheme describing different types of files, how they are identified, where they should be stored, how they should be indexed for retrieval. So a file plan is usually identified by the type of code. Supposedly, we should have code used to classify the files, such as alphabetical, numerical, alphanumerical, or even decimal. Okay. You should know, if you want to have a good maintenance of your record, you have to choose the proper equipment and supplies. So if it is needed that it will last for a long time, there are certain papers which are dili siya mabrittle, dili siya kanon sa mga mananapat, costly lang siya. So mail management, in your email, you have to maintain also the records in your mails. So if you want to arrange your email, or you want to process the recording of your email, process your mail once a day. Make template of your reply, especially if you are replying the same words in many mails. So make template taan. Read only relevant mails. And categorize your emails sa mga letters in your email mailbox. You categorize it by arranging it in different folders. Kani siya academic, kani siya from chat, from DepEd, whatever. So use 1-minute rule when replying. And unsubscribe things you don't read kay mapuno ang imong mailbox. In file management, there are 3 ways in have this file management. But of course, you need to have filing procedure, cross-referencing, which means to say that if ever this certain information is found in this certain document, dagang document which contains same information, you can cross-reference that certain document and then releasing. Okay, the file management is the process of administering a system that correctly handles printed or even digital data. Okay. Now the records disposition. The disposal or disposition is the action taken on non-current records in accordance with an approved records retention schedule. So in this particular part here, the records retention schedule, wala pa taani nagbuhat, wala pa'y crafted retention schedule. After all retention requirements have been met. Disposal is not synonymous with destruction. It can mean either destruction of records or their transfer in whole or in part to archives or records office. So there should be a creation of records office. It can be inside or it can be off-site. But before you dispose your records, see to it that you conduct an inventory of your records. So then appraise. Know the worth of that record or that document. Is it still valuable? Then because after inventorying and appraising, you have to schedule. So these records will be in my office for how many months, how many years. Then after that, there's already the retiring. But before the proper disposal, we need to have disposal policies. Mag-craft pa tawag disposal policies, transfer guidelines, and the archival procedure in which wala pa tanan. So the personnel involved in appraising are the creator or the originator. Why? Because they are the ones who knows the importance of that certain document. Then the users or the processors. So who are the users of that certain document? So kinahanglanon pa ba ni? Doon na pa ba posibilidad na mobalik ni siya para to get this record? Then the office clerks to know the location where that record is located, and also the records clerk. In appraisal, this is an act of determining the worth of records to their creator or user. So in appraising, you should consider the use of the record. So imo sang i-appraise ang worth or the value of that record. Is it a primary record or a secondary record? When we say primary use, when we say it's very important in its primary use, a primary use is the purpose why you gather the information, while secondary use is when information collected is used for different purpose. A basic privacy rule is that personal information should only be used for the purpose for which it was originally collected. So if not, you need the owner's consent. Say for example, the OICT office will have a picture taking every year because of our identification card. So naa na kay picture sa OICT office. So that's the primary use. The primary use of taking your picture is for your identification card. But if your picture will be used in the promotional material or in a brochure, that's already the secondary use of that record or the picture. In that case, the marketing officer will ask the consent of that certain person that his or her picture will be used in the promotional or a brochure, marketing brochure. Okay. Then you should also appraise the record according to its content. Is it evidential and it contains informational record? When we say evidential, does this record will serve as an evidence in the future? So of course, imo na siyang tagaan og value. Meaning to say, you have to separate those record because it contains an evidential value. Then, what information that is in them? Consider also the uniqueness, the form, and the importance of the record. So if you are appraising records according to its content, you will consider the three: uniqueness. When can you say that the record is unique? A record is unique if the information inside that record cannot be found anywhere elsewhere. So meaning to say, dili ka makita og information bisan asa lang, only that certain record. Panalitan imong birth certificate. So uniqueness, there's a uniqueness. So it should be appraised ng iyang worth ana, valuable kay siya. Then you should also consider the form of that record or the physical condition of the record in which it can be used without difficulty. So kaning record can be read, can be used without difficulty, no need of expensive mechanical or electronic equipment to be read. So you should also consider that, the form and the importance. The creator itself, the creator of the record itself, can identify the importance of that record because the creator can answer for what purpose he created or she created the record and for whom, to whom he created that record. So na siya informational value. Meaning to say, pag-appraise niya, kita niya ang evidential value and the informational value, imo siyang i-separate. So this will be preserved permanently or how many years? You can also appraise in terms of category. When we say administrative value, fiscal value, legal value, historical, and intrinsic value. The administrative value, this is the usefulness or significance of records to support the primary operations and the routine management of our school, our organization. So our school cannot operate without this record. So kini siya, importante kini siya. Okay, these are very valuable. Then financial transaction, the fiscal value, this example, the financial transactions and obligations of our school. Then the legal value include formal decisions and legal opinions, documents containing evidence of actions in particular cases. Historical or research value, this is the long-term value of records to document past events. So sa atong book ni sir sa dekada, there are lots of past events recorded there. Then intrinsic value. Intrinsic value is the archival term of permanently valuable record that have qualities and characteristics that keep the records on their original physical form as the only archivally acceptable form for preservation. Say for example, ang titulo sa imong yuta. You cannot dili man ni mo mahimong evidence ang titulo sa yuta if it is photocopy. So kinahanglan original nga titulo sa yuta, original nga birth certificate, original nga CR o OR sa imong motor o diri sa atong school, original nga mga OR and CR sa mga vehicles and anything original nga very valuable. That's the intrinsic term of the archival term of intrinsic value, the permanently valuable record. So when you can say when you go to PSA, magkuha ka og copy of your birth certificate, although original copy gina siya kay, have you noticed sa birth certificate na patong mga sulat-sulat nga kinamot sa kilid? Because dili na siya pwede, the original physical form are the ones acceptable. Dili siya pwede photocopy. Okay, these are the record groups that we are creating: general correspondence, transitory correspondence, case file, references, audiovisual materials, cartographic records, engineering drawings, cards, machine-readable records, wala tanang microforms. Administrative records, academic records, accounting financial records, legal records, personnel records, naapot personal records, and convenience copy. So, mo na ning convenience copy, mo ni siya ang mga duplicates or mga photocopies of very important record. These are the basic category of records. The first, the active records. When we say active records, these are documents and current information used in regular basis. They are referenced frequently and should be stored in a location that is easy to access. Kanira siya dapat ang naa sa imong office. Active records. So if you are only storing active records in your office, maluag na imong opisina. Mahimo na siyang tawhay na siya. Because wala na siya nagdapog nga files in your storage area. Because in active records, these are the documents and information which are no longer current and no longer referenced on a regular basis. So these inactive records are supposedly stored in a records office, an archive, or any place in which pwede siya inside lang, another office, another room, or pwede po siya off-site. Kay inactive naman siya. So, meaning to say, dili na siya kinahanglan currently. So, ang imo lang stay sa imong office supposedly katulang mga active records. The dead records naman, these are the records ready for disposal, approved based on a record retention schedule. So dapat nagitay records retention schedule so that we can decide whether this record should be disposed or not. So mo ang atong mga institutional filing dapat. Institutional records, lahi, administrative records, academic department records, faculty records, alumni, student records, school publication, thesis and dissertation, and memorabilia. These records, naani siya naka-assign nga offices where these records to be stored. Siguro, ang institutional record should be stored sa President's Office, administrative records, kani sa ilang HR, faculty record. So, kani amo thesis, dissertation, and memorabilia, these are found in the library supposedly. Napod may copy in school publications. So we should assign offices where to store these particular records. Okay, file management ensures control at the file level. Sa file level pa lang, nana siya daan ng file management nga gibuhat. Okay, arranging records according to simple and logical system. Placing records in a storage container in correct sequence. So siguro ang atong mga storage container will be eco-file box or steel cabinet, folders, sa patong mga sudlanan nato sa atong mga record. Retrieving the records so that if you have a very good filing in your records, when you retrieve the records, very easy. Kanang dali ra nimo dumdumon, dili na ka magsigig ukay-ukay. Hantod mo ingon ka, ay nawala pero naa na day siya. And because of that, because you have misfiling, there's a tendency that you will print again another document in which supposedly naa nakaadto nga document. That is why the more nga nagdaghan ang imong paper records. Okay, nag-store na ka og daghang record. Document na siya duplication of the records because you have misfiling of your records. So, filing system provide only a mechanical structure for arranging record. Bisan na ang imong gigamit folder lang or eco-file box, as long as you have a correct or a very good filing system, it can be easily retrieved. Dili ka mawala na ba? Then you're not you will not be overwhelmed looking for that certain record because you have a very good filing system. So actually, accordingly, kung even sa digital record, it is not the human, the system that is failure, but it is the human failure because you don't know how to organize your record. Even if it's printed or digital or electronic, you should also consider the correct organization of your record. So if folder na nimo siya, tanan siya about academic, tanan siya about letters, memorandums, so easy to retrieve. Most suitable system should be applied to a particular type of record. Dapat uniform siya, uniform tanan ang filing. This is the criteria of good filing system: simple, flexible, expandable, and adaptable. Adaptability. So, ano na siya? Simple lang, but flexible. It can be expanded and adaptable. So these are the methods of filing: numerical, alphabetical, pwede functional, geographical, by form, or even chronological. So I understand that some arrange their documents chronologically. Kaninga year 2001, 2002, but even if you arrange chronologically, there are also some, even if it's by year, pero in that certain year, imo gyapon siyang i-organize if it's sabi ni siya nga event, academic, extracurricular, whatever. So there should be retention scheduling, determining the length of time that the record should remain in the originating office. Usually influenced by such factor and their administrative value. Unsay value niya? Imo naman siyang gi-appraise. Unsay value? What's the importance of that record? As a general rule, records are to remain in the originating office as long as they are active. So you know already what is active record, meaning to say records which are used or frequently used. Kanang pirmi gini mo siya gamiton. So mura na siya ang dapat imong i-retain in your office. So records that are inactive should remain in the storage facility. So naagi kay different room, different office nga wherein you store your inactive record. Meaning to say katong mga record na doon na pa siya posibilidad nga balikan, nagikinahanglan, especially katong mga transcript of records sa 19 ana pa dugay na siya, but there's a tendency nga balikan pa siya sa tag-iya, meaning to say imo na siyang store in a storage facility, not in your office. While records with no archival values should be disposed of. So i-dispose na gid siya, wala na gamit. Even in our clippings, according to the accreditor, even the clippings nagyapon siya age nga analysis, aging. So 5 years lang gyapon ang iyang gidawat. So meaning to say, those clippings with no, when you appraise, di siya makapasa na mga evidential value, ngayon ana, i-dispose na to siya. Then records with archival values should be transferred to the archive. So wala man tay archive, siguro mag-create ta og records room. So these are now the suggested retention period of our records. So natay mga record after your appraisal, you will now identify which record should be kept permanently and preserved. So naay mga record to keep permanently and preserve. Keep permanently, but keep siya permanently, but to transfer to archive at the interval of 5 years. So pagka 5 years ani niya, dili mahimo na ni siyang inactive, pero needed pa kayo siya. So you have to keep that one in the archives. Then there are also records to be kept for 10 years, then destroy. Keep for 5 years, then destroy. Keep for 2 years, then destroy. Then review the intervals, keeping those with continuing value. Kung wala na siya continuing value, then you can dispose those records. So what are the records that should be kept permanently and preserved? Example, the annual reports, minutes of the meeting. So dili kita ilabay ang minutes of the meetings, papers pertaining to policies and decisions, development plans, budget approvals, and the like, property investment records, contracts and agreements, personnel records, or the 201 files. So it should be kept permanently and preserved. So dili siya ilabay. Keep permanently and transfer to archives. These are the accreditation records, Ma'am Lau. Employment contracts sa HR. Ledger, summaries of receipts and disbursements sa kanisya audit reports, finance office. Building maintenance and operation files, including plans, blueprints, and cost record. I don't know kung sa'yo nagawid ani. Those are records to be kept permanently but to transfer sa archive. Keep permanently and transfer to archive student transcript of records which are inactive. Katong mga karaan na kayo. Reports, plans, including working papers, project proposals and progress reports, government permits, court records and decisions, photo clipping files, and publication. This should be keep permanently but transfer to archives. Keep 14 years, then destroy. Examples, budget records and ledgers, including vouchers, requisition, canceled checks, payroll records, deduction register, and the like, building maintenance inventories, purchase orders, requisition, invoices of major items, accounts audited after 5 years. It should be keep 14 years, then destroy. Keep 14 years also, purchase order, requisition, payroll transaction, credit investigation report, job evaluation reports, call calendars, price list, map, brochure, and flyers. Kaya mag-change man siya. So keep for 10 years and destroy. Another, application records, attendance, job performance reports, duplicate multiple copies of minutes, reports, plans, printed materials like catalogs and brochures, survey questionnaire, and unused forms. Records for disposal. Pwede na ni siya i-dispose. The drafts, routine transmittals, acknowledgement, specific financial transactions, requests, replies to questionnaires, blank or unused forms, and multiple copies. This could be, these materials or this record should be disposed. Vital records. These are the records which are very important. Records needed for continued operations. So, dili maka-operate ang school without these papers. These are very important records to keep permanently and preserve. Records with long-term retention period. Irreplaceable records. Kanang inyong mga certificates, irreplaceable siya. So you have to keep that one. That's vital. Your diploma, your transcript of records, pwede man siya ma-replace pero payment yapon. Records where no other copies are available. Nag-iisa lang siya. So you have to keep that one. That's very vital. Records of historical or with permanent value. You have to keep that record. Methods of protection: built-in dispersal, duplication, microfilming, bolting, and sa pagkakaroon, this is very important, digitization of all our printed records. So dapat i-digitalize nato siya. How to digitalize? You have to scan. Kung na mo yung mga importante kay din nga documents or kanang dili na siya pwede ma-encode o balik, you can scan and make a soft copy of those records. So especially nga our accreditation this time will be blended. So it's very necessary to digitize your other documents, especially katong mga kami kaya among mga floor plan, our pictures of our collection. A good record system contains complete and comprehensive files, thereby enabling effective decision making. Provides integrity and continuity regardless of changes in personnel. Okay. Dapat, kanang example lang ha, kanang sa AO's office. So kung mangita ka dito og paper, which is very important, dili na ka moingon even if bago pa si Sir Lino, if katong nag-una si Sir Fortich or si Ma'am Asuncion na sila good record system, dili na makaingon ang bagong secretary nga ay wala ko kabalo kay wala gi turnover properly. Even if there's no proper turnover, as long as the filing system and the record system is very good, bisan kung bago ang personnel, they can still locate the needed records. Ingon na siyang good record system. Facilitates protection and preservation of records, and a good record system can provide low cost and efficient management of record. Dili na ka magsigig gasto sa coupon ban, mag-print sa ink, mag-print again kay nawala ang original ang record. So nag-print na sad ka, nagbuhat na sad ka. So you can minimize the cost sa imong mga expenses. Then reduce the possibility of misfiling and duplication because you already have your good record system. So dili na siya ma-misfile, dili na po ka mag-print again, print again because you can directly locate the original copy of the record. Then less time spent searching for files and record. Meaning to say, if you have a good record system and a good filing system, there is a good productivity in your work. Di na ka malangan, di ka mag-consume of time. So as a summary, the ultimate test of good record management program is whether the records are available for those who need them, when and where they are needed, that's effectiveness. The manner in which they are made available, that's efficiency. And at what cost, that's economy. Okay, that's the end of my first presentation. Questions will be entertained after the second presentation. Okay, although there's a repetition of some words here, but this presentation have sample filing system. Na siya sample. It's up to us if we will adapt the way they have their filing system or we will make our own filing system. So to be able to understand better the importance of record management, to identify the basic of what to keep, what to discard, and what to do so. To know how to handle the records you keep, the records to be created in the future. So these are the benefits of records management. Uniformity of filing system. So dapat unta, we have uniformity of filing system. Standardization and control in the creation and revision of forms. Then proper filing facility and kanigit siya, storage area. The provision of the storage area for inactive records. So systematic and orderly transfer of inactive records is of records retrieval. If you have a good record filing or a good record system, it's very easy to retrieve whenever the quality assurance office will ask us a copy of that certain record. Pero if the record is already created, pero kung wala pa siya na-create, you'll have to create. Then compliance to statutory and regulatory requirements. So there is also a requirements na dapat arrange good. You have a good filing in our office. So again, a records management is a logical and practical approach in the creation, maintenance, use, and disposition of records. So mo ni siya ang trend sa atong record. I-create na to, i-gamit, i-preserve, then kung wala na i-gamit, dispose. So, mala na lang yung fate of our records. That's the destiny of our records. So, that's the difference between documents and record. Documents is the form that will be used to gather data. It is created to use as evidence of data. So, say for example, kanang inyong, sige ngalan sa form sa registrar wherein the students will fill in. Mo na siya ang sample of document. It is, the records naman, it is an object containing information which serves to preserve or perpetuate knowledge of events, facts, or ideas. It is the memory bank of the organization. So, ang records daw is the memory bank of an organization. So, importante kayo, and in every establishment, there should be a record because it's your memory bank. Data naman refers to the information contents of the record. So, when I say my name is a data which is written in a document. And that certain document is preserved, which becomes now the record of that organization. Okay. All personnel responsible for filling out records shall ensure that the data encoded are correct. So, sa pagsugod pa lang daan, sa pag-create pa lang daan, the originator or the creator of that record should see to it that the data are all correct. Okay, so this is now according, nagingan ko nga, this is, nice say sample. So this is the sample of Libris or the Live Birds Receiving Inspection Tally Sheets. So nasa code, QR meaning quality record, RMW raw material warehouse record, kada siya, kana record number 1, document number 1. So na siya yung mga code. So it's up to us if you will make our own code or pag-create kita og code nga also tailored fit sa atong school. Okay, filing system, a system of classifying into files usually arranged alphabetically or chronologically. So kana, unsa may filing system nga inyong gi-adapt? One, kani, this one, or kani sa SOT, they use this. You also use will use color coded folders. So the retention period of the document is an aspect of records management. It represents the period of time a document should be kept or retained. So as I've said, dapat buhatan sa nato og active retention period. I-assign nato ang active retention period sa each document should assign sa pila ra yang active retention period, pila ka bulan, pila ka tuig, pila ka semana, then the inactive retention period also. The storage area, sa active storage area, a handy place within the office, nara sa sulod sa office, since the records are active, thus they are used frequently. So active storage area is found in your office kay mag-store na sa inyong mga active records. Archive storage area naman, a place that is less accessible. Nang dili nimo permi agi-agian, dili nimo permi adtuan since the record are not used on regular basis. So mao siguro niya nga atong i-create pod para dili maghuot ang atong opisina. Okay. Disposal method. Sa ato diri recycling and shredding. So sa recycling, please be very careful. Be sure that the disposed document should not breach RE 101/73 or the Data Privacy Act. Kung we recycled paper, see to it nga ang sulat sa likod doesn't contain sensitive personal information. Also in shredding, even if it's shredding, is-shred na siya, but if it's still, the paper or the document still contain a very sensible personal information, you use, dili ingon ani nga shredder ang imong gamiton. You should use a shredder with 2-axis shredder, katong nag-X ang iyahang shredder so that bisan pag na-shred na siya, dili lagi siya ma-recreate, kaya di na siya matagpi-tagpi. Kung magamit mo shredder nga ingon ani, pwede man siya masumpay. You just put scotch tape at the back, then mabasa na gyapon siya. So if it's a very sensitive personal information written in that certain documents, but you want to dispose it because it's already needed, see to it that you use a double axis reader, or the very safety way of disposing that sensitive documents is pulping. Kana bitang say for example ang baril, butangan nimo og tubig, ito nimo ihumol ang mga documents, then pagkaugma, nalata naman to siya, imo dayon siyang uraw. That's pulping or maceration. That's the very safest way of disposing documents which contains sensitive personal information. So pulping ang gamiton kay kung natay karon dili naman allowed sa DNR ang burning, pwede man to siya wag gyapon ang burning pero dili naman siya allowed. Pwede pa nang incinerator kanang mura siya kanang mag-cremate inana ipaig tong mga documents dito pero hassle na kay siya very expensive. So dinhi na ta sa mga recycling, shredding or katong pulping, pwede man to nato ma-use ang pulping. Tubig raman to, humulan na siya. Okay. These are again another filing system. So na siya record code, gani quality record, raw material warehouse, record number 1 sa ganitong 01 permero. Wala na. Sama to siyang mga code. Okay? Dayan nimo siyang filing system chronologically, monthly, imong butangan. Then active retention period sa imong office siya i-retain for 1 month. Then imo siya himon nga inactive for 2 years. So meaning to say, kaning sa 2 years mabalhin na ni siya dito sa archives or the storage area of site. Records office, pwede na ni siya mabalhin dito for 2 years. Then ang active storage area niya, sa active pa siya, na pa siya sa office, na siya sa SC, which means steel cabinet. Na siya sa steel cabinet nga record number 1 or atong drawer number 1. Then archive storage area, so dito na siya makita gyapon nimo ang iyang code kung asa siya mabutang nga record. Then ang iyang disposal method, recycle. Meaning to say, dili kay siguro ni siya containing sensible information kay pwede raman siya i-recycle. Okay? So sample na siya, pwede na nato siya awaton. Okay, records retention system. These are the objectives why we should make a record retention system to preserve records as long as needed and to dispose record as soon as no longer needed. So kung needed pa siya, preserve, but kung dili na siya need, dispose na siya. So the records retention system, why retain records? So katong gyapon operating value. So dili maka-operate ang atong establishment kung wala na siya, and administrative value. So the retention, why retain records? So katong mga fiscal value, legal value. Then why dispose records? Save on space and equipment. So, makasave kag space and also your equipment. Streamline access to information and safety sa fire hazard prevention. Daghan na kayo nagdapog imong papel din na, short circuit na mga wire, doon ay possibility nga it will cause fire. Then prevent unnecessary legal liabilities. So types of records, money siya, active, inactive, and obsolete records. Obsolete records also similar to dead records. So management of active records, so may buhaton sa active records. Of course, you have to file. Records kept in order in a folder, pwede sa binder, pwede sa eco file box, in a collection of records involving a specific name or topic. So nagit siya yung mga tag. Then filing, process of arranging and storing materials systematically so that it can be located easily when needed. So these are the requirements. File listing, magbuhat giday ta og file listing. A complete and up-to-date listing of all the files of the department or section and their location. Entries appear in the same order as the files in the drawer or shelves. So, inana siya. Also known as the master list of files. So, sa atong opisina, dapat natay mura o sa libro pa, table of content. But for this one, master list of files. Imong ibutang kung asa na-locate na siya nga file. Shelves number 1, drawer number 2. Murag inana. So filing equipment record should be maintained in a proper filing equipment depending on the size and the type of records. All filing equipment should be properly labeled. So kanang imong steel cabinet dapat ay label. Unsay sulod aning drawer number 1, drawer number 2. Then siguro the first drawer, ang first folder is the master list of all the records found in drawer number 1. So ang imong pirmiro nga folder mao na ang imong table of content in that certain drawer. Unsay sulod ani nga drawer. Okay. Then filing equipment sequence top to bottom or left to right. So ingon na filing of type of filing steel cabinet. Unsa nga office? HR. Number of steel cabinet in the best. Steel cabinet number 1, rack number 1. So nagid siya mga code. Then filing folders, file for folder label. Caption should include the record retention system. So dapat imong i-appeal sa imong folder o kanusa ni siya na i-dispose, kanusa ni siya nga taman nga how many months nga inactive, how many months nga active. So record title, the coverage date, date of transfer of record to the record center, and the disposal date. Caption should be affixed to the folder tabs for ease in reading and searching and improved appearance. So dapat, ingon ani ang imong folder. So provide a correct label on your folder. Na record title, ang sayang ngalan, na siya quality record code, coverage date, then date of transfer. Kung nanatay archives pohon, pwede na ni siya mabutangan diri. Then kanus-an mo siya i-dispose. Okay. The filing folder, coverage date, generally the scope, the start and the end of the dates of creation of records, including in the file. The date of transfer to the record set. So this is the date when the records become inactive. So dili na siya frequently used. Then disposal date, this is the date when the records become obsolete or dead. So pwede na siya i-recycle, i-shred, or i-pulp. So this is the way how they compute the records disposition. So date of transfer of records, so active retention period. So pila siya ka bulan na active. So usara ni siya ka bulan. So siguro sa to 5 months kay isa ka semester. Then disposal date. Okay. Kanang disposal date, ang date kanusa siya gi-transfer, pananditan gi-transfer siya nako karong adlaw, then magstay siya as inactive record for 2 years. So 2 years and 1 day. Example kani ang code, then chronological 1 month storage, then recycle. Ang iyahang kahinanatnan is recycle. So wala siya gi-shred. So mo ni siya ang sulod sa inyong folder, the filing code. So kung kay siya baka nang puti siya tan-awon, but this will help us on how to identify which records is active and inactive, then when to dispose the record. Okay, mga sample na ni siya. Ako lang yung ipakita, but we can make our own coding and also the label. Okay, what's the role of the department head in the records management system? The department head should ensure the data needed in form provided were properly filled up, conduct hourly and frequency of data verification. So listen sa kay hourly, no? Then ensure that all reports are submitted after shift or before the end of the day. If not, make sure that you are always on top of your department. Kabalo ka tanan. Make sure that the data in the form are readable. Records are input in analysis. Review the data and analyze for continual improvement and file properly the records. The role of the section head. Properly filled up all data needed in a form to provide provided on real time. All data in the form will be our input in analysis. Properly correct the data if there will be some erasures needed. Make sure that data in a form are readable. Ensure that your records are signified by the person who prepared that data and your department head before submission. So role of the admin staff. Ensure that data needed in form provided were properly filed up prior to filing. Check all reports that are needed to be submitted after shift or before the end of the day. Make it a habit. Make sure that the data in a form are readable, and some questions report as to the personnel who prepared it. So file properly, kana coverage date, retention, ang mga folder. It's the duty of the admin staff or the ones who create the record to make label on the folder. File all folder in the storage with proper identification. Then after supposedly after the active period of the record, buhatan na rin na siya transmittal to be transferred to the records room. Mo ni siya ang wala pa sa tuwa. Records room, it can be on-site or off-site. Nanay plan na. Monthly documentation audit, there should be a documentation audit. Audit will be initiated on the 6th working day of succeeding month. Example, nag-create ko data August 2015. So ako siyang i-audit or i-check September 7, 2015. So kinanglan nga naa siya active storage area, proper filing arrangement, then completeness, then naa ba siya prescribed labeling. All findings that had been raised during the audit should be addressed in a span of 5 working days. So kung ikaw ang department head, once nga imo na nang i-audit ang work sa imong mga tao, if ever there's an error, imo na siyang, kinahanglan mausab na siya or would be addressed in 5 working days. So these are na the records turnover procedure, transmittal of all records to be transferred, complete listing. Kung naanatay ko na archives or records room, mo ni siya ang needed. Complete listing with coverage date, signed and verified by department head. Example, the data control. Na-example gyapon akong gihatag na sila data control policy. So kani wala gyapon ni sa tuwa. Errors may be corrected following the procedures below. Mo ni ang ilang policy. Slash the wrong entry with one straight line, making sure that the wrong entry is still readable. Write the correct entry near the wrong entry. Ensure that the correct entry is written clearly and legibly. Indicate the initials or signature, whichever the space would allow, and the date when the correction was made. So, buhat agatuay nga. This is now the challenge and the task of PCC employee. We will have to create a uniform filing system. We will have to craft disposal policy, transfer guidelines, daghan kay ba? Archival procedure, data control policy. We'll have to provide storage area or records room. And of course, assign a property custodian or a record keeper. Kanina dayon siya ang bahala aning mga mo bantay, mo preserve or mo conserve atong mga inactive records which are preserved in the transferred in the storage area. So mo na atong challenge, mo na atong task. We can do it. Thank you. That's all. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma'am Warley, for that very informative, thought and action-driven material na not just to be heard from our webinar today, but must be done in our schools. Though Pilgrim is a small school, but wala may lisod atong sa pagsulat-sulat. More on kung with sulaton. And with this, let us give a warm of applause to Ma'am Allen for this very good presentation. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Pao ka nang share na ang registration link and evaluation link.
Authorization link.
Actually, we have a registration link so that we will know who attended or participated this webinar for the certificates. And also, there is an evaluation link so that we will know how effective we are in giving you information on records keeping and records management. Thank you.
Okay. At this time, we are now open for questions for our open forum. Some department heads and staff may have questions and clarification, especially that ganina yung ingon man puro wala ka wala. Dito to survive for 72 years na wala. So, kaya nga with the advent of technology and also with the new normal, let us be equipped and be better at what we are doing and what we are still lacking. I think pwede naman siguro tayong mag-ask questions by Kuan, asking directly to Ma'am Warly. Wala akong camera.
Actually, kwan siya, kanang ako siguro ang mga nga, because at the end of my slides, there is a challenge or the task. Kanang we will have to create our policies in records management. Kano sa kata magbuhat na, or are we going to make it centralized? Na gid siguro kay there should be uniformity. Ana siya. Kinsa man ang magbuhat ana, Ma'am Dali.
Ma'am Dal, naka-mute ka Ma'am Dal.
Okay, after this, good afternoon. After this one, there will be a meeting as to regarding policies, di ba? As you have said in your lecture. So we should have a meeting only about records. This one is webinar info. Then we have to have a meeting. That's a planning how to go about our records. After the meeting, planning, execute. After executing, another meeting to evaluate. So this thing is a big task. Then I said we should be very productive. No, we make productive use of our time while in our office because there are a lot of things to do. So we need to have a meeting. There's a committee. And then we will make the, what I have a note on my one, disposal policies, archival. That's another committee, right, Ma'am Zawi?
Yes, ma'am, kay based on the memo that's routed on this webinar, there is a note there that after 1 month, diba Ma'am Lau, after 1 month, we will visit offices. Anak man to yung gingon dito sa memo nga, we will visit after 1 month kung check kung yun sa inyong records management. But siguro, para na ako, before siguro ta mag-agree sa taog, what filing system that we
Correct,
will
that's the one we will do.
O ana sa siya dili sa siguro ta nga mo visit kay mo check kay wala pa man ta nag-ingon nga unsa nga filing system ang atong gamiton. Dapat kay there should be uniformity. And then pag-create sa siguro ta na ta magbisita or we will also hear some of your best practices in your filing system in your office kay dili man lang ta mo awat atong sample, we can also create our own filing system. Pero basin sa inyong opisina na amoy best practices in which you find very useful, pwede po na nato siya i-adapt or awaton nato tanan. Kaya para we have uniform filing system. I understand that Ma'am Dali na kay sada nga filing system which you adapted from PSU, Bukso.
Mamwar, maybe what do we call this committee? The committee that will meet? Records Management Committee. What is the name of that committee? Because we will make a memo that this committee will be formed. Or it's the Mancom, it's either the Mancom who will think about this.
Oh,
What do you think?
Mancom siguro will think about that kay. O karon ta
Committee.
maghatag og ngalan na ng committee basig dili siya maka sabana nang lahi basta dili niya maana tanan ba niyang trabaho.
So I will just list that in the Mancom agenda. Okay, I will write here in my notebook.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige. Okay.
Do you have questions from the department heads or staff that are listening now? And by the way, we already have sent through the chat the link for our evaluation and evaluation and registration, so that you'll be able to identify who participated now para sa certificates later.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
By the way, while the others are thinking of their question, may I make this opportunity to announce that we have a lecture series, Lord willing, on April 6. We have invited somebody from DOH. It will be 10 a.m. Zoom. 10 a.m. Zoom. The topic will be on the COVID-19 vaccination, because we understand everyone seems to be worried, anxious on COVID-19 vaccination. Of course, the factor of that is the many literature around social media and so many things on COVID vaccination. So are you interested to listen to that lecture series? Are you?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So that will happen hopefully next week if our plans do not miscarriage. So thank you so much.
Walay questions? Because there are no questions, I may just hear some of the offices best practices on how and why they keep how they keep and manage their files siguro. So ato na i-volunteer ang mga offices.
Ay, volunteer, Bray. Kaya na.
Self-volunteer kayo.
Ako nang gi-share ang presentation sa chat box.
Chat box here in the Zoom.
Yes, ma'am. Presentations di ay.
Let's hear from siguro si taon na kay si Ma'am Pemi.
Best practices sa records filing, records management. May nam sa kwa.
Ikaw ganin, Bri. Congratulations, Ma'am Marley, for this for the time, no, for sharing with us tips, no, in keeping ourselves more organized, and hopefully this will ripple down to becoming better in terms of customer or clientele service. Okay. Yes. I think that this is the main reason, no, why we are doing this, no? Especially like when our clients come. No? So when they come, oy, asa man tong kuan, oy, asa man tong ano. So when they come, hopefully we will be able to be of better service to them. No, thank you so much. And then among ourselves also. And this session is also giving us time to really think back nga, lagi tuod ba? Am I being efficient and effective? And because of this, am I giving back the quality call this in terms of work output in general with regards to my office or our respective offices and in partnership with other offices kay no man is an island man, no, so we really work together hand in hand. And it's true nga usahay maghuna-huna ta nga akong filing din like years ago I requested from from one of our carpenters kana maghimo sa mga cabinets, no, so what I do here is lahi for research, lahi for planning, and lahi for miscellaneous, no. Pero usahay ko ra gyud gihapon na mga times nga mopalpak lang gihapon in terms of where I put files. So it's good we have this, and it's also ideal that we come up with our institutional way of filing. So looking forward to that. We blend, no. Although katong imong gipanghatag nga mga kuan like for example 10 years, 5 years, 2 years, mga tips lang man to, no. We can also come up with ours. Okay, like for example in my case my orientation was after 5 years ipang kuan na ng mga raw data, pero along the way as I work na along the way nagihapuyuban files nga ako nang na-dispose kay 5 years naman pero kinahanglanon pa day balikan. So depende na gyud gihapon, no? So thank you so much Ma'am Warly and congratulations.
Ma'am.
Thank you. Kani sa mga isa sa mga pinakadaghan og records. May we hear from the registrar's office? Apa ba si Ma'am Joy? Ma'am Joy.
Need na ila i-digitalize.
Wala man itubag si Ma'am Joy, nagtago. May we hear Ma'am Joy?
Yes, Sir Brian.
Best practices sa imo or your experience with file keeping and file management sa registrar's office.
Well, based on my experience here in the registrar's office, most of the old files since 1940 is still there at the back. But then it's sad to say that most of the 1940s kanang gipang anay na gani. So mostly sa mga old ones kanang mga buhi pa man siguro sila or nag-retire na sila. Some of them kanang nag-visit din sa school for their school records. So it's very hard for us to kana bang pagpamingita bitaw, whereas kung gi-digitalize na siya na preserve na siya, it's much easier for us to look, whereas karon i-scan pinagginso pag ginanamo pag-check, pero lahi ra gyud kay mostly of the records nag-brown na sila, then gipangkut-kut na sa anay. So whereas kung na-preserve pa siya long before sa mga previous mga registrar, nindot unta ang mga records, no? Then like sa college, need na gid siya i-scan kay puno na gid kayo ang storage sa taas. Then kung tao pa na siya, makaistorya pa na, supukit na makuyap pa na. Kung makareklamo gid sila bitaw ang records, kung makaistorya lang lisod. So lisod, how many times did I requested this for the annual plan? I need a stock room, but kulang gid ta og classroom pod. Mosa na akong pag ginasabot pod sa atong sitwasyon right now, no? Pero kung nalang gid tay insakto nga stock room, dayon kana bang
storage area.
Yes, ma'am. Ma-preserve gid siguro ang uban records.
So, ang answer ganam kay records room.
Yes,
Shared.
sir.
Room.
Shared by all offices, department.
Pwede na siya on-site or off-site.
Yes, ma'am.
Mag-ask ko ni Ma'am Warly, Ma'am, in regards to the registrar's office ba?
Oh, sir.
What is ideal na gamiton sa mga, we already know na TOR, those permanent records will be kept for a long time. Is bond paper really the best way? Or
Dili siya, sir.
better gid ang cardboard
Ano?
mo to printingan?
Na siya, amo unsay term ato nga papel ay na siya mabaligya sa Villanueva. Kanang sa archival bitaw, archival paper mo na siya ang gigamit sa gito yang ngalan ano. Nakakuha na siya, treated na siya. Gitambala na siya daan pero medyo mahal lang yun siya. Pero kanang gud ang ilan ni Ma'am Joy kay specialty paper man inyo ma'am ba?
Yes, ma'am. Oo.
Nang pwede raman na siya namang gyapoy treatment naman parebit ta sa archive na to dinhi sa Kauswagan sa Cagayan de Oro na may sila yung mga inactive records dito nga kanang permanently valuable record kanang mga titulo sa yuta naman na dito gibutang siya box, then ang box kay katong treated gid siya mga material gikan sa Villanueva rin na siya paliton sa basta nalimot ko sa tama ko ra pagitaw. Hinigtan gina siya ma'am na dili na siya pwede i-touch by kanang human hand kay mabrittle na katong karaan na kay evidential value kung kanalita na ay nagpatay nga nag-ilog sa duluna waon to siya dito sa archive then ang katong archivist siya ra gid ang magdala adto then escorted by police siya ra gid ang pwede makatouch adto nga record so siguro kung natay ingon adto nga bisan pag paper lang na siya pero ang iyang box kato iyang container sa storage container niya katong treated dili na siya anayon dili na siya madakot pero nagya po na ikuan Ma'am Joy ako nang ingnon ta ka kung unsa tong ngalan nga para i-treat i-spray bitawan ang papel para dili siya mag-brittle o dili ko siya kanon sa mga mananap na pero for safety kinahanglan na gid siya i-digitalize ato na siyang i-scan then ato na siyang i-organize by year by course and hopefully naka-canvas na si Haji atong kuan i-video scanner for the transcript of records para as soon as possible kanang mas dali ba kanang pinaka soonest ato na siyang matrabaho kay labi na kay gisugdan naman ka nag-anay diha Ekado na siya.
Okay, thank you,
Yes,
Ma'am
ma'am.
Aten.
Right.
May we hear sa kanay second pin sa pinakadagan ng files, ang finance office. Si Ma'am Aileen kay busy si Ma'am Malu. Ma'am Ai. Ma'am Ai.
Fiscal value ra ba ng ilaha?
Fiscal value ra ba nila?
Oo.
Ano si Ma'am Malu?
Binakit.
Nasi Ma'am
How
Derek.
long ba? How long? Di ba 10 years?
Ang sabi sa mong kuan is advice me mag-retain sa among record is 10 years. So the rest, pwede na siya ipang shred.
Ngitaan.
Pero dili man na mga sensitive ang inyong information na sa inyong record kino sensitive.
Ang katong i-retain kay kato lang kuan ma'am. Kung sample audited nga mga audited na muna pinaka-importante.
Lagi.
The rest katong mga ledger kung pwede ma-keep pud to siya sana ma-scan gyapon, ma-scan gyapon siya dapat. Kay nagkuan na kanang gisi-gisi ng ubang.
Kanang mga assessment sa mga bata nga nang graduate ay inyo na siyang i-dispose.
Ang assist kanang amo kay sa kuan man amo kanang kung zero balance na amo man ilista as cleared. Pero mo lagi na siya ang mga kanang bitang sa bag-o karon nga system. Unsa na mo pag kuan sa ilahang kuan ba record nga nabi tayo kanang ano yung sa i-print lugar sa man na.
Dapat ato ginang trabaho kanang security and backup sa system kay
Dapat na soft
labi
copy
at
of hard
kabalo
copy.
kung unsa na ka-stable ang system. Importante ra ba
Opo.
kayo ng mga records? So, siguro magpalit ang school ng sa cloud para i-cloud na nato. Pero
tama.
wala ko man gud na migrate ni kuan ba ni Sir Genesis ang gikan sa
Wala
old
pa.
system paingon sa online.
Na among problema ma'am kay ga naman nami og butang sa balance kani nga school year gina-encode pa namo, so mura gyud pug walay system na tabo sa balances.
Dili ka makakuan, wala siya kanang picture nga pwede na ma-print largo i-encode yun.
Muna siya wala pa man daw na integrate.
Ang dal importante ba kay na ma'am ang kanang security and backup sa system.
Yan na uban kay mawala ang kuan bitaw, mulahi ang example sa kani government. Sa una kay wa may problema kay 20k. Ya karon nilahi na pud na nilibog kayo.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Ai. Indeed, daghan ta mga challenges. When I was still working as a student assistant, I find also the guidance office file system very much very good. So may we share have sabay representative sa guidance office dire.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Ma'am Jelly.
Yes, Ma'am Leia is having a career guidance now, so I will be so ako na lang sa for the meantime. So yeah, thank you, Ma'am Warrell, for the informative webinar and an update somehow. And I hope that this will be implemented or whatsoever or every office is planned to make it easier to look for on files that's in need by our clients, because it's so inconvenient for them to go back and forth, no, especially sa mong office, no. So yeah, okay, since ginagmay man na siya, but it's very important, like especially sa entrance examinations sa mga bata. And among gakabantayan is sige sila balik-balik din to look for their entrance examination results. But every offices man have a difficulty man good, no? So hinay-hinay tangaga ka-improve. And thank you so much for this webinar. No, in order for us to be informed of this, so to make it easier for all of us. So no, as we made it, no, sa guidance office, no, for hard copies we keep 5 years, no, and dispose the hard copies of beyond years, no. So like for example, 2021. So we have already now at this time we are disposing the 2014. Okay, so 2014 backwards na mga years, but 2015 still the residents are still here, no, but beyond years are among ginabuhat do disposed na ang mga hard copies, but we still have the soft copy. So that's how we make it, yeah, with our filing.
Ma'am Jel.
Yes, ma'am.
What's the way of your disposal? Kay kuan ra ba na siya sensitive records ra ba na nasa inyo?
Yes. And wala man mi since we don't have shredder, ma'am, no. So amo ginabuhat, ma'am, is ginakuha na mo siya, gisi-gisi na mo siya into pieces yun, as in dugay yun nga pamaagi, especially sa mga GRFs na mo kay carton siya. So sakay magsakit ta mo mga kamot kay pang last niton gud siya, kay in order nga katong mga files it really won't be seen good if ever ay mga magtanaw-tanaw. So we really make it to a point na wala gid sila makitaan. So as in ginagmay gid into pieces gid siya. So that's how we do it, ma'am.
Pwede siguro katong pulping.
Ma'am?
We Canada also pulping katong ihulmol siya sa baril na nay tubig.
Yes, we did that. Yes, we did that actually last 2 years ago. Yeah, we did that. Katong nag-summer me nga among ipangbula din among ipanggusit-gusit ka para dali ra. So karon ginahinay-hinay man namo siya. Tapos wala pa gid mi baril. So among ginapamaagi, ma'am, is katulang yung ginagmay. So sa una naka-borrow mi sa finance, but we are informed that naguba siya. And I believe mas need man siguro gid sa finance. So ang amuan na lang yung buhaton. I think we have I don't know if we have requested, and I don't know if na-approve siya. I don't know, dili pod ko kuan pod no. So that's mo kita mong ginabuhat na.
Okay, thank you very much, Amjel. I think two more. May we hear from the faculty side? May we request the School of Education siguro with Ma'am Heidi? Ma'am, may I ask how you handle student outputs or not just kanang office department kay it's really some questions on my exam papers kung if na yung mga faculty na nag-keep or dapat bagid ihatag sa mga estudyante. Thank you.
Ikaw na lang istorya. Okay. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Since I am new to this office, I would like Mamay Mai to share with you, of course, the practices of the office. Mamay?
Good afternoon for everyone. Usually in the SOE office, all the faculty requirements are being kept and filed through by folders.
How about mga student outputs, ma'am? If the faculty in charge is keeping them.
As SOE, sir, ang outputs are kept by the teachers.
Forever?
I don't know, sir.
They're using EcoFile box.
We are using Box as a filer.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Wala na ilan mag-share?
Right. May I share something?
Yes, ma'am.
May I just share my personal practice on record keeping? Can I share, Bri?
Yes, ma'am.
By the way, I started teaching in record keeping is not only for school. You can use it also personally. I started teaching in 1990, and since 1990 up to the present, I have a summary of seminars attended. I'll give you a sample. This is a record containing data. Present ko na pa, Brian, no? Share screen for a while, ha? Okay, so can you see my screen?
Ma'am.
Okay, so this is the record I made in the School of Education before. So every faculty who attends a seminar, I put it in a matrix form like this, no? So it's in the record. Everything is recorded so that when Sir PU will ask me on, you need accomplishment report, so I can submit automatically, no? So like this. And then this data is filed under faculty development. And in the School of Education, when I left, this is under section 3. Section 3 or 4 faculty. So this is under faculty. So that's how easy to me. I don't know if Ma'am Heidi changed the filing system. To me, I find it easy to find this file because I created a file. I know where it is. So that's one. Then another, personally, I have a file for myself, no, the one I mentioned. So summary of seminars, webinar attended. So as I mentioned earlier, I have a 1990 up to the present on this. All the seminars I attended, the certificates of appreciation in AXCO, when I attended seminar, national, international, it's there. So this is another document because the file is very long. I have this April 2020 and onwards, summaries have attended by Dalia Businyo. So you see it here. I have here all the CHED, Ibichea, and then our faculty development session, and then now the 25th, while we are having seminar, I'm doodling here. So I put already the records keeping and file system sample. So that's what I do, because when Sir Johnny last time asked submit a portfolio, so I don't have so much headache. Ngayon ko, ay kalabad bas ulo kadagan bas trabaho. So I don't anymore have that trouble. I'll just say, okay, I have this file and I'll put in folder submit. So I easily comply with the requirements. So that's all, no? So record keeping can help our life become better, manageable, less stress. If at the beginning we already we know what to how to, what do you call this? How to organize things, no? Because it will help us in our work. So di kita ma-stress. So I think that's all.
Okay, thank you very much, Dal. Wala na yung mag-share?
Sakang Ma'am Dali ako mga tao po ang record atong DICT webinar.
Oh, na ako adto. Oh, na dito.
Encode tanan.
If wala na, wala na yung mga reaction.
Si Ma'am Lau, ipastorya si Ma'am Lau.
Si Ma'am Lau, last.
Kay siya man mo ikuan sa record yun.
Siya may end.
Lau, sa problema sa imong record keep.
Go. Okay, go.
Doc Laura Tanto.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Actually, the records that is kept within our office comes from the different offices. Kung ang inyong records keeping diha, dili maayo, dili sad eksakto, ang gabot sa amo, dili sad maayo, dili eksakto. So, usahay, mag-magic na lang mi. So, I would like to give thanks to Brian and Dwarlinda for facilitating this webinar. Actually, this is an output of the problem of Brian also and the problem of the accreditation office. Kaya supposedly, ang among opisina mo keeper unta sa mga records sa atong eskwelahan, no? From the building permit up to the plan, marag dili yun eksakto, no? So I hope with this seminar and in future webinar, we will have a better records keeping and management. And with the proposal that we will have a record area with a property custodian and record keeper, I think our record will be systematized already. So I hope Sir Pio will give us what is needed for records keeping and management. No? So I guess that's all, Sir Brian. And thank you so much, Brian, for facilitating, and Ma'am Warley for being the resource speaker.
Right.
Yes.
Only 13 responded the evaluation, and
how many have attended?
20 in our Zoom participants. There are 24. So less to siguro ni 24.
Wala pa ko na-fill up. Na-busy pa.
Sige lang. Okay lang. Later. Kina, mo na to.
Morato, with this, once again, let us give a round of applause to Ma'am Wardy
To
for
everyone.
this very inspiring and informative presentation. And I hope everyone was able to learn, and not just learn, but really to do action on what we have learned today. With this,
Pictorial.
thank you.
Pictorial.
Turn on your camera.
Thank you very much. I request everyone to turn
Turn your camera, Bray.
camera for Ian.
Si Sir Pao Ramato kay di kita. Sir Pao Ramato. Narilis.
Tawagon sa ako Sir Pio.
Ma'am Lau, turn on your camera, Ma'am Lau. Kasi Ma'am Natalie, Ma'am Glyza, Joy, Justin.
Yan na, naka-on ka yan. Uban, wali kami agad.
Wait, Michelle, open your camera siguro. Everybody, open your cameras. Snack na si Pao.
Gusto, ikaw rin, camera niyo gusto.
Okay, camera.
Kasing tabang ko ng ginagawa ito din.
Signal, Brian. Or mag-smile me.
Okay, good afternoon everyone. Signal, camera, off your sound, your mic. Okay. Keep smiling because I'll be taking many shots because there are two fun. Okay. Ready, starting, smile. Keep on smiling, guys. Keep on smiling. Second page. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. That's all.
Okay, once again, thank you very much for participating and actively joining the conversation for our webinar this afternoon on records keeping and management.
Certificates will only be given to those who responded the evaluation and the registration link. Thank you.
Bri, do not close yet, please. Kaya I have not registered. I answered the evaluation but not the registration. Do not close yet the ha. Okay, we are still. Where is that evaluation?
Pag-answer na mo sa link. Thank you, guys.
Naay kwan ani, Sir Brian. Ang registration, wala ko kasulod.
Evaluation na gini naaasa dapat eh.
Walay katong registration no.
Did you put the registration here, Bri? Pao?
Nasa link. Nasa link, ma'am.
Second na kuan.
Na link ko. Saan sa itong registration mo dito sa Zoom?
Sa second nga link magkatong ipasa ni Sir to ikaduha kay ang first kay evaluation na
second.
Sa Zoom lagi o sa kuan sa iya?
Oh, diyan sa Zoom sa chat.
Ito na. Meron man, Pril.
Makita, ma'am.
Nandiyan sa chat box. Done. Okay. Next is the one Ma'am Warley gave. I need to download. Leave na.
I'm done.